So I had this house in France back many years ago. In fact, I had two houses. Bought the first one, £11,000. I mean, it's not much money, 22,000 Australian dollars. And yeah, it was weird. It was almost like an impulse buy. I went past an estate agent in Twickenham, and they happened to be selling French houses, as you do. And I thought, I'll buy one of those. So I went down to mid-France, the Loire Valley. It's about a 6-hour drive from London once you've gone over the channel. Or under it now, of course. In those days, I had to go on the ferry. Anyway, went down there, saw this house. It's bloody brilliant. I had enough money. Can you believe I had money in those days? Loads of money. And what I did was I bought the house. And then I sat there in that house that first night. It was very old, and it needed a lot of work done on it. There was a date on it. It was 2 years before the French Revolution. They built that house, can you believe? There were no foundations. They just put down great big stone blocks, built the damned house. It was as solid as anything. Had these great big oak beams, which would have been taken from around that area, as were the stones as well. Anyway, it was brilliant. I was going down there every weekend. I was a motoring journalist even at the time. So I'd get a Jag or a Porsche or something, and I'd just fly over there, down there. I wouldn't fly, I'd drive. I'd get down there and spend a weekend there. Now, my French was really bad because I'd messed about in French classes at school. I was a really bad pupil, very stupid, so I had to learn French. And that was all right. I got one-on-one lessons with this French woman in Britain, and I ended up fancying her, actually. It was a bit of a problem. But anyway, so my French got fairly good. Went down to France, go to the house every weekend, brilliant. One thing I noticed in France, though, straight away, is the French are weird. They're a weird bunch of people. Okay, first thing is this. When I was going down there, I met these two French women, and I became friends with them. They both wanted to learn English. They spoke very good English. Their English was far better than my French because I spoke no French. And one day it was raining, it was pouring with rain. And they would not accept, or the one of them in particular, wouldn't accept that this was rain. It was weird. I said, there's so much rain in France. And she said, no, it is not rain, it is precipitation. What the? Precipitation? It's rain. It rained for about 3 or 4 days. Another time, I said to her, Liddy her name was, I said, hey Liddy, it's great having a house in France. She said, you may own the house, but you do not own the land. Who owns the land, I thought. Of course I owned the land. But that was their attitude about everything. Very, very bizarre, if you ask me. Anyway, the person who arranged the sale over in France was an English guy. And he was living there with a young girl, actually, strangely enough. But he was an oldish guy. And spoke fluent French, just like a Frenchman. You know, he loved it over there. He thought it was great. But he criticised the French as well. Every now and again he'd have a bit of a go at them about something. Anyway, here's the interesting thing. So, you always think the French are stylish and trendy and all this sort of stuff. But a lot of their houses, once I started going in them, as in Liddy's house, for example, which was, again, was very old. It's a very old area of France. And so they got these big oak beams, which are great, you know. But in between the oak beams, they painted the ceiling like bizarre colour. So it had to be green, for example. Not just natural wood, you know. And my house, between the beams, was like a turquoise blue. It was just unbelievable. Anyway, this guy, the English guy, let's call him Monsieur Boulevard. Let's call him that. He's really quite irritating, actually. He's quite arrogant, you know, arrogant Englishman. Anyway, he said to me once, listen, if you're coming down, would you mind bringing a bed for us? As you do. They'd ordered it from some store, Harvey Nicks or something in London. I said, yeah, that's all right, because often I was taking vans down, because I was doing tests on vans as well. No, I have no idea why. But anyway, so I brought the bed down for them. My brother came with me. He's a couple of years younger than me. And he does building, carpentry and all of that. And I thought, come down for a holiday for a couple of weeks, and we'll do the house up, okay? We'll do lots of painting and repointing and all this stuff. So he came down with me. And the first thing he said was, why is the ceiling turquoise? I said, I know, they all do it. Anyway, Boulevard invited us over that evening when we took the bed over and said, come on in and have a drink. It was a winter's evening, so it was dark, it was pretty cold, and he had a fire on and all this. It's really cosy and comfortable. And the lights were low, you know, and we sat in this lounge in this old house, again, similar age to mine. And Boulevard goes, so how are you getting on? I said, well, I'm getting on fine, but I find the French a little bit strange. He said, oh, yes, they are rather strange people a lot of the time, very strange. I thought, that's weird, you're living with them and you love living here. Anyway, I said to him, you know, one of the things I find really bizarre is how you go into their houses and you think it's going to be great and really rustic, and then they painted the ceiling in some kind of bizarre colour. Yes, quite right, old chap. And we're sitting there drinking beer, you know. And so what happened then was Boulevard says to my brother, well, would you like another beer? And he says, well, don't mind if I do, Mr. Boulevard. Mr. Boulevard. And the guy just looked at him. My brother really never got French, I've got to say. And anyway, so I had another beer as well, and I sort of leaned back in the chair and my eyes went to the ceiling, and there was the ceiling finished in a aubergine colour. My buttocks clenched tight when I saw it, and made a noise, I think, on his leather sofa. My brother went, "What's that?" Anyway, that was France. Loved it there, really, though.